What is going on, guys, and welcome back for another video. Myself, Obsidian Gaming, and for today's video is all about top 10 tips for beginners at Farming Simulator 25. Now, it is quite a daunting game and there is a lot to learn on this, so I'll just give you some of the top 10 basic tips to hopefully get you started right on the game. The tip number one, if you go to career mode and when you start a new game, I would recommend using new farmer mode. There's several different ones you can do. You have new farmer, farmer manager. I'll start from scratch at different challenges. It makes it a little bit more difficult for yourself. But however, if you're a new player, start as new farmer and then money, you can change your money here as well. I'd recommend probably doing around 250 to 500,000 starting off with. So it gives you a nice little bit of a challenge, but you can go all the way up to 1 million if you really want. Now, starting loan, this is the amount of debt that your farm will start off in. So if you put 1 million there, you will start making loan repayments each month. You want to leave the difficulty on easy because all this affects is the prices of your crops or the produce that you sell. Then start a farm. Yes, you want to start a farm. Now, when it comes down to the guided intro tour, if you're brand new to the game and it's the very first time playing farming simulator games, I would recommend keeping this on because it is a nice little tutorial where the game pretty much holds your hand and shows you the basics of the game. If you're not brand new to the game, but you played the previous ones, I'll probably say no, because there's not a lot of differences from the previous games for a lot of the way the mechanics work. Tip number two, personally, I'd say stay away from any modded content. But however, if you do want to download any modded content, all you do on the main screen, go to downloadable content, and these are all the mods that are currently available for you. Have up at the top category for the best, most downloaded, latest, and then recommended. You go through, so some of these I've not actually seen myself yet. But if you go into trucks, you can buy a new truck. Go on tractors, new things there, and then you can get auto balers, etc. for it as well. The reason why I say stay away from this at first is because the game is quite complicated to start off with if you've never played it before. So if you're having more mods, then the game is going to be more complicated for yourself. So basically, just try and get used to the game and then try some of the mods a little bit later on. However, though, if you do want to download some of the mods, all you do is click onto the category, the mod that you want to download. An example of this tractor. This is a nice little ride-on mower that you can purchase, which is quite good. It's only $1,480 to purchase. Tells you all the information about the product itself. And then on the bottom, just click install. And to activate the mods that you've downloaded, once you've done this section on the screen, starting a new game, or when you're loading up your game, it'll come up here for DLCs and mods. And all you have to do is just double click, make sure to highlight it for the ones you want to include on your game. Tip number three is getting yourself some extra cash. So if you're a little bit strapped, there's a couple of different options you can do in the meantime whilst you're waiting for the right prices for your crops or anything else you're currently doing on your farm, such as products to produce. So if you come over towards the menu, this little graph bar, exactly where it is for where you sell all your products. If you go over towards finances, you can then borrow some more money from the bank. However, because you are borrowing the money, you will have a monthly payment outgoing each month, so bear that in mind. If you don't want to take a loan out, what you can do is sell some of your machinery that you're not currently using. So if you do start off on the starter farm, you do start off with several different tractors, trailers, and other bits as well. So the Ferguson trailer for your header, you can sell that. You don't really need it, but you're only going to get 216, but it's 216 in your account. You got two tractors as well on the starting farm. So if you really wanted, you could sell this one for 18,000 or sell the other one for 26,000. And since we're starting off on the starter farm, we don't really want to be starting off with cows. So come over towards the cow pen, and this is the purchase icon, and then this is the selling icon. So you come over towards this one, select them ones, and then we can sell all three. That will give us 3,200. Next up, what we're going to do is get rid of some of the buildings that we're not going to be using. Sheds, we don't really need them. The barn, we can get rid of that. Get rid of this cow shed as well. What we do is come over to our sales section, where we can actually buy all the products. Come down to this bottom one here with the 3 lines. Go to construction. Then we can select this, and then we can sell that for 7,500. So in all, we've made over 10,000 just on that. This big barn, we can sell that for 47,000. Get rid of that as well. The shed. Over here, got a little cosmetics. Get rid of that. Don't really need it. Then you can get rid of all the other stuff. I wouldn't recommend selling the house because it is quite useful to be able to skip time at night when you can go to sleep. When it comes to silos, I would recommend keeping silos because they are very handy to store your grains. So then you can hold them till they come out at a better price later on in the year. Our next tip is try to stick with basic crops. Now, the reason why you want to stick with basic crops when you're first starting off is because if you start off with a new farm, you've got some of the equipment which is perfect for harvesting all the crops that you currently got on your farm. So you just carry on, rinse and repeat. There's no point doing wheat one season and then try and do potatoes because it will cost you an absolute fortune to get the potato machines that you need to actually harvest the potatoes and then planting them, etc. So try to keep it all basic when you're first starting off. Tip number 5, know what you're buying before you buy it. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you click on each category, there is loads to choose from, loads of different tractors. If you click on the tractor you want to purchase, just have a look at the bottom right here for the horsepower. Now, that is standard, but when you purchase them, you can upgrade it to there. So, an example, double click on it, come over towards this bit here, and then we can increase it £24,000 extra. But then that would give us the extra horsepower there. As you can see, the horsepower is just going up. So you need to make sure your tractor is powerful enough to pull one of these big ones, because it will tell you there is what horsepower is required for it. That's 180. So if you have one that's only, say, 110 horsepower, you won't really be able to use this machinery too well for it. Looking through some of the other categories as well, as you can see, there is a huge selection for it. Now, one thing I nearly tripped myself up on was the mulchers. So what you want to do, if you're unsure about if your tractor or your current vehicle you're using can compatible with it, if you double click on the bit itself, around here it does say combinations. So click on the combinations and you'll be able to see which machinery is compatible with that equipment that you're trying to use. So always double check that before purchasing. Tip number 6, when you're first starting off the farm, you don't have to purchase the biggest tractors straight away. Now I've got 1.2 million, so I could just go, right, and go buy this because I started off with this farm with £1 million. However, if you're starting off and you've only got, say, 200,000, if you come over to this tractor, which is 320,000, instead of paying 320,000 for it, what you can do is lease it. Now, bear in mind, there is a charge per day for this. So just bear that in mind. This will be a 16,700 initial payment for this tractor, but there will be a big charge each month. When you're starting off, it is better to purchase the ones instead of try and buy the biggest and the best tractors. But however, if you really want to use it for a short time, like a harvester, then lease it. And personally, I would probably only recommend leasing a harvester because 9 out of 10 times, your harvester is going to be sat around not doing anything. If you come over to one of the big ones, you can get the field done really quick. So you will have to lease this big harvester, and then you do the combination, and then one of these headers that you require. Once you're done with leasing it, all you have to do, I'll show you now. So we'll go lease it. Yes, go lease it. We can pick it up from the garage. Then to give it back, if you come over towards the bottom 3 lines, go to vehicles, find where our harvester is, and then you select return, and then there won't be any excess payment each month for it. Tip number 7. This is another way to make some nice and easy cash. And this is by doing a little bit of a scavenger hunt called collectibles. So throughout the map, there's 25 collectibles, and each collectible you get $10,000 for it. Or pounds, depends what currency you're using. There'll be an example if I come over towards this one here. Run down at the side, and you have this little collectible here. That's given me $10,000 straight into my account. So then I've got extra money to play with. So if you do off 25 of them, there's 250 grand for you straight away in your pocket. So that can buy you a nice big harvester if you need to. I have completed a full guide for the 25 Riverbend Springs map collectibles. If you click the link down below in the description or the little tab up above right now, you'll be able to find every single location nice and easy for you. Tip number 8 is doing contracts. Now, completing contracts, they are really easy, to be honest with you, 9 out of 10 times, but it gives you a nice little bit of a play around with different machinery on different types of scenarios. For an example, Deadwood. If you want to do Deadwood contracts, you can use their equipment by borrowing the items there. The contract reward will be 1950, but however, it will be a little bit reduced if you're using the borrowed items. Or if you got the items yourself, you could use the contract and then use your own equipment that you've currently got. And yeah, they're dead easy to sort out as well. So you just go over to them. For an example, harvesting. We'll go borrow the items. Straight onto there. Click through. There we have it. All the machinery will be left over at the dealership for everything that you need to do. Once you've completed the contracts, all you do is select across to active. And then you just select when the progress is all 100%, complete, and then you get your money for it. Tip number 9 is changing the game settings so it suits your play style, how you want to be playing the game. Personally, I keep it on 15 minutes autosave, timescale ×5. Keep the difficulty on easy. Even though it is on easy, it still takes a long grind to get the money saved up so you can buy some new machinery. Traffic, I do keep it on personally, but if the cars will start getting in the way, and then you can turn it off as well. Because sometimes the cars, they could just hit you and then send your tractor go flying. So be careful with that one. Seasonal growth, I wouldn't recommend it, so turn that one off. Now, if that is on, you could only grow, for an example, wheat in June and July, and then barley in September to October, for an example. And it just limits to what type of crops you can actually grow for the time of year that you're currently in. Days per month, I keep that on 1. So when I sleep at night, it'll be the next month when I wake up the next day. We're down to crops and growth. Crop destruction, keep that off. Now, if you really want to be more immersive and be careful where you're driving around the farms, I wouldn't recommend it at the start because when you drive over the fields, it will destroy the crops and leave big wheel marks in the middle of your hayfield. So you don't really want that, do you? So turn it off. Then periodic ploughing, keep that off if you want. Otherwise, you have to harvest it after each yield. Stones, it's up to you if you want to keep that on. Lime, and then you got weeds as well. I keep them on personally because it's not too bad to do it, but if you want to take them off, you can always do that nice and easy. Disaster destruction. So that is, for an example, the tornado. So if the tornado comes round, you want it destroying your crops. If not, then click disabled. But if you want to see the tornado, put it on visuals only. And as standard, AIs, they will automatically fuel up seed and fertilize. They will buy it for you if it's running low. If you want to make it more immersive, just turn them off and then you'd have to do a little run around yourself to fuel up your trucks or keep the seeder and the fertilizer filled up as well. In the general settings, if you come down, you have the help window. You can keep it on or off. The colorblind mode are all here as well. You have your units. So if you're in the UK, you can use pounds, euros, dollars. Measuring units in miles or kilometers, and then you got all the other stuff here as well, like the radio if you want to keep it on, or if it's in the vehicles only for the range. And yeah, just go through some of these basics and adjust them to your personal preference. And finally, number 10. Tip number 10. Well, I'd say keep the game as basic as possible when you're first starting off. Forget about doing animals. Get used to doing the crops, get used to doing all the different aspects of the game. And also, one thing I love doing is forestry. Now, with Farming Simulator, it's not just about harvesting and ploughing the fields. You can actually go into the middle woods and then start tearing down the trees. And it's really fun as well, using all the different equipment. So just explore on everything you've got, but keep it simple. Leave animals probably to last. I'll do farming, then forestry, and then do the animals. But when you're out in the woods cutting down the trees, I would recommend it. It's good money resourcing as well. But just have fun with the game. I'm going to call it a day on the video. So if you did enjoy it, don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe for more Farming Simulator 25 content. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks very much. Bye for now.